So in this attempt to get results that we want, we have learned to totally manipulate our food in order to get results. And the biggest one has been carbohydrates. It has just gotten a huge bad reputation of making you fat, making you gain weight, all of these things. And we've learned how to manipulate them to lose a little bit of weight or to drop a few pounds really quickly, right? And it worked until it didn't work. So the thing that you have to realize about carbohydrates is it is your body's number one energy source. Is when you eat it, your body releases insulin, it turns your food to glucose, and it enters your bloodstream, and it is an immediate energy for your body. So if you think, like if you've sat in on my nutrition masterclass, you have heard me say this: make sure that your energy output matches your energy input, and including your energy input source. Your energy input is, of course, your food. Your energy output would be your exercise. So what is an energy input source? So if we're talking about carbohydrates, and if we just take something as simple as the glycemic index. Now, it's not a perfect scale by any means, but it gives us a better understanding of what your body is going through and how it's actually responding to the carbohydrates, right? And then making sure that our source is matching. So the glycemic index says this, that the foods that are higher in index, when they enter your bloodstream, your body puts out a lot of insulin very quickly to handle that food. That means it's on the high end of the glycemic index. If it's low on the glycemic index, it's more sustainable for your body, and it sticks with you a little bit longer. So your body's response to that is to put out a little bit of insulin, little bit, right? And it's more level. So it's really important for us to have different carbohydrates in our diet at different times, right? So if we think about something like the glycemic index, right, we just automatically think that all fruit lives on the glycemic index, which it does not. So something like cherries have only a 20 on the glycemic index, so that makes it low. But something like watermelon is high. So just by knowing, like, don't just say like all fruit is created equal. But this, if you're gonna go to the gym and do a workout and afterwards you're feeling very lightheaded or you're dizzy or you're shaky, that is number one, a symptom of low blood sugar. Now, the easiest way to adapt to that low blood sugar is to get something in your body that will quickly bring your body back into that balanced state, which is your homeostasis balance, right? So you're really shaky, you eat a piece of fruit or something like maybe like a banana or something, or an apple. Those are gonna bring you back to feeling balanced, if that makes sense, okay? So that's how we're gonna use carbohydrates and how we're gonna think about it. Now, if that's supposed to sustain you only for your workout or an hour or two, eating carbohydrates, these quick little carbohydrates through the day, you're gonna be like this all day if you stay doing that. So what you have to learn is to learn your carbohydrates, learn how your body reacts to them, and then what you can do for your energy sources later in the day. Now again, I eat my biggest breakfast or my biggest meal in the morning after I've worked out, and I mix blueberries with oatmeal. So I have a little bit of sustaining carbs and a little bit, ones that will enter my bloodstream a little bit faster. Plus I eat a lot of protein. So as my day goes on, I don't need all of those carbohydrates now because my energy during the day and what I do during the day is actually lower. So I've talked about carb cycling as well, and I carb cycle my day. So I put the bulk of my carbohydrates around my workout so that I have enough to sustain the energy output, which I'm doing. First of all, I'm working, I'm doing physical things at the gym, so my body recognizes that as labor. And then as well as building muscle. You have to remember that building muscle is actually gaining weight. So you have to make sure that you're eating enough food and that you're fueling those workouts so that your body can actually grow that intended muscle that you are so hoping for. So as your day goes on, if you eat later, or if you work out later in the day, is eating a big giant breakfast going to sustain you through the afternoon and keep your blood sugar balanced for that workout? No, this is where you have to understand where your carbohydrates need to go and when they are most effective. Especially if you're over 40 and you have other hormone issues going on, then you know how hard it is to strike this balance. Now, some people are wearing glucose monitors and finding out what actually spikes your blood sugar, but you know what? You can actually find that out yourself by just feeling and taking notes of what food you're eating. So you want to make sure that you have a variation of different kind of carbohydrates, whole grain carbohydrates, oats, potatoes, sweet potatoes, all of these, rice, all of them, a mix of carbohydrates, okay? And you're gonna use sustaining ones with fast-acting ones and all of that, and you're gonna intermix them according to different things that you have going on in your day. The number one thing you have to do as you get older, and if you have hormone issues already, is you gotta get your you gotta get your insulin and blood sugar to become more balanced. And this is the way to do it, is to better understand your carbohydrates. You gotta stop eliminating them out of your diet. So, the best thing to do is write down, when you food journal, you're gonna write down what you've eaten. Now, the other little caveat here is gonna be fat, right? Because we know that fat is also an energy source for our body, but that's a little bit slower acting, and that doesn't release insulin, okay? So when we have fat added to the insulin, right, it slows everything down a little bit. So this is why I'm always talking about creating that balance and creating that balance. So in the morning, I eat high carbohydrates. It's to sustain my workouts. It's to fuel my morning. It's to come off of my fast that I just had overnight from, my dinner the night before. And then I don't eat any carbohydrates during the day because I don't really need them. I don't need that spike. I don't need that instant energy in my body. So this is where I go higher fat and higher protein during the day. So I just switch to my other energy source just to kind of balance things out. And then we know that carbohydrates also can work as to sustain your blood sugar and to help you feel comfort, right? We know carbohydrates are comfort food. So I also add that carbohydrate in after dinner before I go to bed, just to it helps me to sleep and it helps to bring comfort. And again, I'm not gonna eat a piece of fruit before I go to bed. I'm going to eat oatmeal, or I eat grits, or I just eat something that's gonna fill my stomach and just really help to feel comfort. So don't study the glycemic index as a general rule, but think about the glycemic index and your carbohydrates and how it's affecting your insulin. And if you're eating any processed foods at all, you can just consider all of those spiking your blood sugar and lasting. So they're almost confused between a high and a low glycemic, right? So they'll spike your blood sugar, but then they just kind of hang out in your system because they're just junk in there. And then we add more and our body hasn't taken care of the toxins that were just in there. And now you're eating food is trying to deal with this, but it's trying to still deal with that. So again, if you want to get results, number one, get the processed foods out of your diet. Number two, you got to get the alcohol out of your diet, at least for 1 month. If you stop both of those for 1 month and just worked with your regular natural foods and just saw how your body reacted to them, this is already, I know a lot of women that I work with already know their macros, they already know their calories, they've already manipulated all of these. So if you're you have a good understanding of macros and calories, and you're adjusting them, you have to move them around so that you can get carbohydrates separated from fats and use your carbohydrates in a way that it's fueling your workouts and offering you some comfort. Now, this is different for everybody. Like I told you, my meals are big in the morning. I don't eat any carbohydrates during the day, and then I do another one at night. And when I was doing my macros, I was just talking to someone at the gym today, and he said, I eat X amount of protein. And I said, yeah, I don't track anymore, because I find that when I try to like get to this arbitrary number of my goal or my weight, right, of protein, I just eat as much whole food as I can. If I need any more than one protein shake in a day or one yogurt, I know that I need to make some whole food adjustments to get that extra protein in and to get those extra carbohydrates in. So you want to make sure that you have as much whole foods as you can, and you will be able to notice a difference in your symptoms, and you'll be able to register what it is that's going on. So you do your food logs. Are you getting dizzy or losing energy after just 2 hours of eating? Well, number one, your food, maybe you gotta look and see if you had enough food in there, and what was your meal breakup. Did you go to the gym? Do you need to add more carbohydrates? Do you need to add a little bit more fat to get that to sustain? So those are the things that we're looking at when we're talking about adjusting your food and adjusting your energy source to match your energy output. Now, this is something that just gets so confused, and it's so round and around and around. You do not need to wear a glucose monitor. You can do this homework on your own. Just eat the food and see, what kind of symptoms that you have in your body. And that doesn't mean that you have to eliminate them. It means that you need to use the carbohydrates when your body will most likely use them the best. So this is just a little teeny touch on insulin and carbohydrates, using the glycemic index, understanding the value of having all different kinds of carbohydrates in your diet, and you do not need to limit them. That was every trainer and doctor told me to cut my carbs, and the lower my carbs got, the worse I felt. I was so fatigued and tired. I go to the gym and I couldn't understand what was happening. So anyway, I just went back to understanding carbohydrates as an energy source and actually putting them in the places that I needed them as my energy. I just didn't willy-nilly put them out through my day and just be like, well, I ate my calories and I'm within my macro balance. I don't understand why I don't feel good. It must be I need to lower calories. It must mean that I need a glucose monitor. It must mean that I need, some kind of a shot or whatever to control my insulin. No, you need to just work your food balances around and just keep working them until they work for you. I know that it took me a little bit. It took me probably a month to get this down. And once I understood this, the weight really came off because my body was utilizing and using the food as I was eating it rather than just storing it for long periods of time. And then I would just add more food, and then I just was in a vicious cycle. So I'll be doing another nutrition masterclass. I'm gonna be doing one every Thursday. So please contact me and I will get you on the list if you wanna know more about how insulin affects your diet and what you can do about it. There's some other things that I also cover in that. So I would love to see you, and make sure that you like and subscribe. And I will share everything that I know with you to help you get some results. All right, talk to you soon.